What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we have to discuss our man, Cory Booker. Why is that? Because Cory Booker recently engaged in the greatest display of grandstanding that we have ever seen in the history of this country. And I mean that quite literally. Let's get into this article very quickly before we get into the actual video clip of Cory Booker grandstanding and essentially losing his mind. Why is that? Because Cory Booker is going 25 hours and 5 minutes without any sleep. What he's been doing for the last 25 hours and 5 minutes? Well, let's check this out here. In a feat of determination, New Jersey Democrat Senator Cory Booker held the Senate floor with a marathon speech that lasted all night and into Tuesday night, setting a historic mark to show Democrats' resistance to President Trump's sweeping actions. Booker took to the Senate floor on Monday evening, saying he would remain there as long as he was physically able. It wasn't until 25 hours and 5 minutes later that the 55-year-old senator, a former football tight end, finished speaking and limped off the floor. It set a record for the longest continuous Senate floor speech in the chamber's history. Booker was assisted by fellow Democrats who gave him a break from speaking by asking him questions on the Senate floor. It was a remarkable show of stamina as Democrats tried to show their frustrated supporters that they are doing everything possible to contest Trump's agenda. Yet Booker also provided a moment of historical solace for the party searching for its way forward by standing on the Senate floor for more than a night and a day, refusing to leave. He had broken a record set 68 years ago by Senator Strom Thurmond of South Carolina, a segregationist and Southern Democrat, to filibuster the advance of the Civil Rights Act of 1957. So essentially, Cory Booker spent 25 hours and 5 minutes filibustering, right? And like I said, this was simply grandstanding, and that's pretty much the current state of the Democrats overall. All they're doing is grandstanding. They have no policies on their own to stand on, and they only exist at this moment in time to stand in the way of Trump. And it appears that they may possibly be successful in their efforts of doing that. And I'm going to explain why I say that in just a little bit. But first, let's get into a quick clip of Cory Booker essentially coming to the brink of insanity because he had been at this point speaking for well over 20 hours now. And let's just take a moment to look at this video of Cory Booker. Like I said, essentially going crazy at this point, right? So let me pull this video up for you right now.
To call to the conscience of this nation, to say, I will not stand for another American to lose their health care for a billionaire. I will not stand for another veteran who's dedicated to stopping the suicide of other veterans to lose their job. I won't stand for the air quality in my community to be made worse because they're letting polluters pollute more. I won't stand for the collective assaults on the Constitution by a man who even the highest judge in our land, a Republican-appointed judge, said stop threatening and bullying other branches of government. When is it going to be enough? My voice is inadequate. My efforts today are inadequate to stop what they're trying to do. But we, the people, are powerful. We are strong. We have changed history. We have bent the arc of the moral universe. And now is that moral moment again.
This looks very unhealthy. The man's eyes look like they're getting ready to pop out of his skull.
You now, God bless America. If you love her, if you love your neighbor, if you love this country, show your love. Stop them from doing what they're trying to do for almost 20 hours. We have laid out what they're trying to do, 20 hours. I want to stand more, and I will, but I'm begging people, Don't let this be another normal day in America. Please, God, don't let them take Medicaid away from 10, 20, 30, or 40 million Americans who desperately need it. Don't let them do it.
Anyways, that's it. Once again, this was just a phenomenal display of grandstanding, a 25-hour long filibuster. And essentially, this is just all theatric because, like I said, that's really all that the Democrats have to offer. And it's funny, they're willing to gauge in theatrics as it pertains to lying about the cutting of Medicare, lying about the cutting of Social Security, and in defense of keeping Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and cartel members in the country. But when Biden was office, letting in 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants unvetted, which resulted into the untimely deaths of so many American citizens that should have still been alive right to this day. You didn't see any of this. No grandstanding, no filibustering, no record setting. And I want to take a moment to let Stephen Miller explain that better than I can. So let me pull this video up of Stephen Miller for you right now.
Security advisor Stephen Miller. I just have to ask, what the hell is going on here, Miller?
Well, first of all, I think that's the first ever filibuster in American history from Cory Booker in favor of getting men into women's sports, keeping our borders open, and making sure that we tax the wages of our tip workers in Nevada. So very courageously, Cory Booker has stood strong for those three issues. Here's what he never filibustered for. Here's what the Democrats never filibustered for. The dead bodies of American citizens raped, mutilated, and murdered by the illegal aliens that Joe Biden and his administration and Secretary Mayorkas funneled into our country during the invasion that took place over the last 4 years. They released people into this nation, not people, monsters into this nation that were pedophiles, that were child rapists, that tortured women, that murdered moms and dads, that committed atrocities that we've never seen before in this country. And now they say, they have the temerity to say, that every single invader that Joe Biden let in should get their own individual judicial trial before they're deported, one at a time. Each one gets $1 million trial in front of a communist judge to decide whether or not we can send them home. How about hell no? How about we pick them up and we get them out of this country so they can't hurt anyone else?
Now, as Stephen Miller stated, how about hell no? How about we pick them up and get them out of this country, essentially, as soon as possible? It's looking like that's going to be the case right now. It's looking like Trump is going to have to now move at light speed to get his agenda across the finish line with only 2 years. What do I mean by that? Well, stay with me here, right? So tonight, or I should say, as I'm recording this tonight, it's 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, right? Tonight was the special election. Some of you may be aware of this. Some of you may not be. If you weren't aware of this, that is unfortunate and a little concerning.
The executive director of the Milwaukee Election Commission, that multiple sites were either running low or ran out of ballots. At least those were the reports that they were getting earlier this evening. Now, according to the executive director, they are sending more resources to these places, trying to make sure that they have what they need. We obviously still have some time to go until polls close. We initially got that notice around 30 minutes ago, so she noted there was still an hour left, and they were trying to make sure these resources got to these places. But 7 sites in particular, she noted, had no ballots, or at least made reports of having no ballots.
Now, in this special election, 2 congressional seats were up for grabs in Florida, and a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat was up for grabs. The 2 Florida seats that were up for grabs, right, the congressional seats of the GOP Republicans were able to hold on to those 2 seats. But it appears currently, as things stand, as it pertains to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, Susan Crawford has won. Susan Crawford currently appears to be the projected winner. Now, what does that mean? Susan Crawford being the projected winner, beating out Mr. I believe his last name is Schimmel, the Republican. Well, I want to play this video clip for you right now from Benny Johnson's live stream earlier today. And I want you to hear what it means for Susan Crawford to have won.
Guys, if you like Trump, this election should speak to you. Benny just said it to you. So here's what will happen. Let me put let me make this crystal clear. We don't win today. They will redraw the maps. We will likely lose the House. And on day 1 of 2027, they will impeach President Trump. And you are going to see the impeachment circus that started in 2019 rev up again. You are going to see our ability to have a good budget. All of those cuts that you like to see from Doge, etc., all those cuts are going to be reinstated. You're going to see funding of Ukraine. You're going to see funding of our enemies that despise everything of what it means to be an American citizen. You're not going to see money to secure the border. You're not going to see money for border patrol or border security. All of your dreams and hopes and visions, everything that we worked tirelessly to achieve on November 5th, 2024 is gone. You lose this election, we likely lose the House. They're going to impeach the president, or at least try to, and he will be a lame duck president. President Trump deserves to have all 4 years. And that's why, Benny, I dropped everything. I should be in Pennsylvania. I should be in New Jersey right now. But no, I'm in Wisconsin because this is the single most important election this year. Wartime Scott is telling you, you must come out and vote for Brad Schimmel today.
Well, Brad Schimmel lost. Unfortunately, he lost.
Well, I could look at it from another direction. I think the Schimmel campaign was really struggling, both financially and just in terms of traction before Musk got involved. He may have actually, given whatever boost he had late. But it didn't solve for the issue that the Republicans have, which are these low propensity voters, and trying to get them to turn out for things that are not Donald Trump. You heard Elon Musk, I think correctly, try to tie a vote in the Supreme Court race to much larger macro political issues, but it wasn't enough. And so that is an equation the Republicans have to solve for. I don't think it's going to be an issue in 28, but look, you got a midterm between now and then. It will be an issue in these midterms, and that's something the party strategists are going to have to deal with.
Yeah. Now, with Susan Crawford as the state Supreme Court, with Susan Crawford winning the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin, as stated, most likely they will now redraw the congressional map in Wisconsin. That would most likely give Democrats the majority in the House. Is that a foregone conclusion? Is it just a fact that that's going to happen? Technically, no. Technically, but realistically, yeah. Realistically, yeah. So what that means here is that what we just saw from Cory Booker, that 25-hour filibuster, will turn into a 2-year filibuster once we hit 2027. It's going to turn into a 2-year filibuster in which Trump would become a lame duck president, because you will have the Democrats just blocking everything. So currently, as we speak, realistically, technically, this may not happen, but realistically, Trump kind of only has 2 years to get done what he needs to get done. And if not, like I stated, that 25-hour filibuster is going to turn into a 2-year filibuster. And what Democrats are banking on is that they can sabotage the Trump presidency, so much so to the point to where he's not able to accomplish his agendas and goals, to which they can then market that in 2028 as Trump having a failed presidency, and not them just simply standing in the way of democracy, as they so love to pretend that they're protecting, which they are not protecting. They're standing in the way of it. and standing in the way of the will of the people. They're banking on people not remembering that they're the ones that stood in the way, right? So that's what they're looking at happening right now. Because once again, they don't have a platform to stand on. They don't have any policies to push forward. The name of the game is sabotage Trump and then repackage our sabotaging as just simply a Trump failure. But we have to see how things play out. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. The link to my Telegrams in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.